Paul, you are an absolute answer to prayer, because what you have tapped into is an answer to your prayer also. I know this.
It's true.
It's hard to believe, but I'm going to take you back to a husband that is abusive in every arena to his wife. Why were you that way?
I didn't know, and that's what made me angry. I married when I just turned 19. My wife was 16. And on the second day of the wedding, or the marriage, I went off on her physically and abused her, and we lived that way for 16 and a half years in the first marriage.
Was this new to you, this type of behavior towards a woman, or had you even been that way before?
I'd been that way in dating. I abused her physically and terribly emotionally as you know, as a teenager, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. I always felt I'm flawed, I'm defective, I'm dirty, I'm damaged, I'm different, but I could never trace back where that feeling came from.
What about God? Where did he fit in at that point?
I couldn't find a place for him, because it seemed that God was to a point that having a father that was totally silent, God didn't answer prayer. He didn't seem to have power. I was raised in a parsonage, and it worked for everybody else, but it didn't work for me. And the reason it didn't work for me is Satan had gotten to me through sexual abuse in childhood outside the family. And I tried to talk to my mother about a rape that I had at 8.5 years of age, and I said, Mom, I need to talk about sex, and I got my mouth washed out with soap, and today I still don't like the taste of ivory. And so I got the message that this was something we as Christians don't talk about. I created a learned helplessness. That's what we find in the domestic violence field, that a man like myself will pick a woman and then he will start degrading her and telling her things like, you know, you're lucky to have me as bad as I am because nobody would really want you. You're fat and ugly, you're stupid, and all those things that she wasn't. She was brilliant as a young person. She was smarter than me, and so I couldn't stand that. So I had to put her under me through abuse, verbal abuse, and then sexual abuse. And I remember one night we were arguing over sexuality, and I hit her so hard that she screamed, and the kids started banging on the door and says, Mom, are you still alive? Are you still alive? And I'd hit her so hard she could hardly breathe.
Didn't this bother you? Didn't you say that enough is enough? I'm not going to do this anymore?
Yeah, I said it 1,000 times, Sid. You'll never know how many times I said, I'll never do this again. I would promise her, honey, I'm sorry, and start the process of escalation again an hour later. I hated what I was. I despised
finally, she had enough. You got divorced. You have a new relationship. Did this work out okay?
No, every girl that I ever dated I was abusive to, and so I get into a live-in relationship, and I batter her so badly that I'm facing 15 to 22 in the state pen for attempted murder.
15 to 22
years?
That's
what the attorney said.
You're going downhill fast.
Yeah, real quick, real quick, real quick.
So what happened?
Because of my sexual abuse in childhood, I made up my mind that I would die before I go to prison. So I had two choices, either kill myself or accept Christ and lay myself on the mercy and grace of the Lord Jesus.